Our relationship with ourselves, I feel, is one of the most important relationships that we're ever going to have. It's the longest relationship we're ever going to be in. And I just feel like most people don't prioritize it as much as they should, as much as we should. And I think instead of focusing on the things that truly matter, that are most important to us, the things that keep us up at night, the things that follow us into our dreams, I think that we focus so much more on everyone else and everything else that we think is important and that we think is going to be long lasting, but nothing's going to last longer than we are to us. And so I feel like prioritizing yourself and learning what you need and what is going to be good for you to be the best version of yourself is the avenue that you have to go down on the journey to becoming the best version of you. Because at the end of the day, we search for a lot of things that we feel like fulfill us in other people. And it's the reason why a lot of people get into relationships that do not serve them. It's the reason why a lot of people stay in relationships that do not serve them. It's the reason why a lot of people think that certain things such as alcohol, drugs, food, whatever bad habits we may have are important to them because they think that it is fulfilling some need that they have that they think only that can fill. Instead of realizing that the bigger picture is there's something from within that needs to be worked on. And while we're spending all of our time chasing after all these things that we think matter more than anything, we don't pay attention to us. And so then we spend our life on this hamster wheel, running, 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 not getting anywhere, even though it feels like because we're tired, we are. Instead of taking the time to sit down, stop moving, and reassess. And think about the things that are wrong in your life, the things that are wrong with you in general as a person, and wondering what work can you do on yourself to fix those problems. Take everybody else out of it, take every other thing out of it, and just think about you and what can you do personally that'll be beneficial for you and your mental health, physical health, financial health, everything. Just you in general as a person. What's going to be best for you and how can you achieve that? Because then we find ourselves trying to be good partners in relationships, good brothers and sisters, good children, good cousins, good aunts, uncles, parents, whatever. And we can't show up because you can't pour from an empty cup. And you're empty because you kept running on that hamster wheel until you had nothing left in you because you thought you were chasing something that wasn't even within reach. Because you're looking in all the wrong places. You do have it, you just don't know you have it. You don't know you have it because you never took the time to figure out that you have it. Because we have everything that we need. Of course, relationships with other people are important. Of course, there's things that you can't give yourself. But those things are not the things you actually need to be able to be the best version of yourself. Those things just help make up a better version of the good version of yourself that you already are. And I don't know if that makes sense how I just said that. So what I mean by that is when you fix the things that you have that are inside of you that need some work, you're going to show up as the best version of yourself. And then when other people come into your lives and give you those things that you can only get from other people, now you can show up and be the person that they also need you to be. And you're going to be able to accept those things you're giving you in a way different way than you would have if you didn't work on yourself first. So at the end of the day, a lot of people think that certain relationships are going to make them this person that they want to be, or give them the things that they've always wanted. That's why a lot of people have kids, because they're searching for a love that they don't have for themselves. So they're looking for it in another person. That's why a lot of people get into relationships for the same exact reason. That's why a lot of people stay in toxic friendships where they don't really feel like the other person is being a good friend to them, but they don't know how to be alone, or they don't want to be alone, or they think not having friends is a bad thing, when really it can just be that time that you need to work on oneself. And then all the people that are going to be meant to be in your life, that are actually better for you, they'll come when the time is right. Because then you're going to attract the type of people that you actually want in your life, that are actually going to be long standing friends, that you're not going to feel like you want to get out of that relationship one day because it no longer serves you. So I think that instead of focusing on the outsourcing of things that you feel like you need to be the best version of you, I think that we need to worry about watering our own gardens and stop thinking that if we have more money, everything is going to be better. If we do this, it's going to be better. If I have a kid, everything is going to be better. If I get in a relationship, everything is going to be better. Stop thinking that what you need to focus on from within, you're going to get from someone else. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. And I know I've seen people chase their whole lives for something that they never got because they never decided to look for it in the one place that they've had the whole entire time. And that's within themselves. And it's frustrating to know a person who has so much potential but gets in their own way. And it's even more frustrating to be that person. And I think the way to recognize that you are that person, because sometimes we can recognize things in other people that we can't see in ourselves. When all along you are criticizing someone that you're just like. And I think a way to recognize that you are that person is to think about the goals that you've had in your life. Not new goals from right now, but goals from maybe years ago. And then think about where you are right now. Are you where you wanted to be? Are you even on the way to being where you wanted to be? And if you're not, why is that? And if you say it's anything other than you, think about what you did in that situation. Don't even think about any other outside situation or people or anything. Think about what you could have done differently despite all that. Because at the end of the day, life is all about choices. And we all decide what we want to do. Of course, life throws curveballs. Of course, people come into our lives and shake it up in ways we didn't see coming. Things happen. But just because you took a detour doesn't mean you can't still get to that destination. But most of the times we get in our own way. And a lot of the time it's because of the fact that we are chasing things that we think are going to fulfill us long term, not realizing that it's just a momentary thing that serves us no purpose in the long term. And then once we try to catch up, we don't even realize where we should even start from because now we're empty. We used all we had on that one thing, and now we don't even have anything left to be able to do what we need to do to get back on track. Or the cycle just continues and we recognize that that thing that we were using wasn't for us, so we think that now that one wasn't for me, but let me go get another one and maybe this one will be for me. Instead of thinking just in general, it's not for me. I'm for me. And if I'm going to put everything on the line and mess up my life or take a risk or any or whatever way you want to call it, I'm going to do it because of me, not because of another person. Because also, how could you plan to show up in other people's lives when you haven't stopped and done the work on yourself? Now, you're trying to give everybody else everything that you need, and you don't even have it. It's kind of like when they say, check on your strong friends. And it's because the strong friend, strong family member, strong person in your life spent so much time pouring into everybody else's cup. No one's pouring into theirs because from the outside, it looks like they're already full. But they're not. They're empty because they're giving it all away and not getting anything in return. And you can't keep pouring from an empty cup. It's empty. But you know what? The things that they are missing that could fill their cup, a lot of it they can find within themselves. They just don't know it. A lot of stuff that we need, we can just find within ourselves. Patience, humility, understanding, love. We give all those things to other people, or we don't, but we don't give it to ourselves either. I think my conversations with myself are my favorite conversations that I ever have. Because at the end of the day, it's not a conversation where I'm even my own yes man. I can look at things that I do from an outside perspective and criticize myself. And if it's a bad critique, I change the behavior the next time I'm in a circumstance like that, or I apologize if apology is needed, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people aren't able to look at themselves from that perspective. A lot of people aren't able to admit when they are not being the person that they should be being. But I think when you're introverted, I think that's the beauty of being introverted versus extroverted. I think when you spend so much time in your mind and you stop talking so much and you stop trying to be in the minutia of the room and you sit back and you observe and you think and you watch, I think it gives you a totally different superpower of being able to understand yourself, understand people around you. You're able to catch things that other people wouldn't catch because they were too busy talking. They were too busy doing their big thing that isn't necessary. And so I think it will benefit us all to be able to sit down and just take the time to be able to look within and be able to work on whatever it is that we feel like we need to change within ourselves before you start thinking about looking on the outside for those things, because I'm pretty sure 95% of the time, probably even 99% of the time, you're not going to find the actual thing you're looking for in another person. Because at the end of the day, it has to be found within. Another person can only add on to whatever you got going on. They can't make you. You are you. And so I think that on this journey to becoming our best version of ourselves, we have to just remember that. So at the end of the day, you don't just want to be a better version of you for you. You want to be a better version for those around you. And you can't pour from an empty cup until you're that person.